Silver has just been reclassified by the United States government as a critical mineral, and I need you to stop and really take in what that means. This is not a line item in some government report, because this is one of the largest economies in the world saying in black and white that without silver, modern life does not function. Energy security, electronics, medical devices, even national defense, all depend on it. And right now, sovereign wealth funds, billionaires and governments are beginning to move into this tiny market. In this video, I am going to explain to you why this shift is so historic, why silver is unlike any other commodity because of its unique dual role as both an industrial powerhouse and a monetary hedge, and why the recognition of silver as critical could trigger stockpiling, subsidies, and a wave of demand that the supply side simply cannot meet. The Interior has included silver in its draft list of critical minerals for 2025, placing it alongside copper, lithium, and rare earths as essential to economic security. This is more than bureaucratic housekeeping because it is a single government document reshaping how markets think about the metal. Washington now categorizes it as a material whose supply, disruption, or even manipulation could threaten national security and the broader economy. And of course, it comes at the very moment that sovereign investors, including Saudi Arabia's central bank, are quietly building their own exposure. Now, the US Geological Survey, who is involved in compiling this list, no longer relies on static import data, but runs thousands of disruption scenarios across industries. Silver's inclusion tells us that policymakers consider a break in supply not only possible, but damaging. And that opens the door to federal support for domestic production and recycling. For investors, the implications extend well beyond bureaucracy, because silver has been elevated to the ranks of resources essential to energy security and advanced manufacturing. Now, as we have talked about on this channel so many times, silver is unique. On the industrial side, it's powering renewable energy, electric vehicles, semiconductors, medical applications, and defense applications. And on the monetary side, it remains a centuries-long store of value. It is a tangible hedge when confidence in the financial system wavers. As the analysts at Goldfix note, this dual role amplifies the designation. Manufacturers and governments will secure supply, while investors treat it as a confirmation of silver's strategic importance. And as we all know, supply chain vulnerability is real. The US depends on imports, often from unstable regions, while demand from clean energy and medical technologies is accelerating. Washington's move is an attempt to preempt bottlenecks, and it reflects a broader global scramble for reliable supplies as China dominates refining. Silver is now part of this geopolitical contest. Now, signals are also coming from markets. Regulatory filings revealed that the Saudi central bank has bought positions in silver ETFs worth around 40 million combined. The allocation is small in scale, but symbolically powerful. A sovereign investor adding silver exposure just as the US government designates it critical. And Saudi Arabia is not alone. Goldfix and many others have long argued that China, Russia, and other BRICS nations have been quietly stockpiling silver since 2023. Sovereign actors are circling, and governments are providing the policy tailwinds. Now, I just want to highlight something that Goldfix put brilliantly earlier on today, because critical status has consequences. It enables subsidies, Defence Production Act provision, and stockpiling. And history shows that once a commodity is stockpiled, prices move fast. Lithium and uranium, as highlighted by Goldfix, both surged after being declared critical, while new mines lagged years behind. As they themselves put it, critical status often leads to synchronized buying and subsidy races, with demand realized immediately while supply expansion lags. Silver is now sitting in exactly that position. Now, please also consider the actions of billionaires, because technology entrepreneur David Bateman recently revealed that he had invested nearly $1 billion in precious metals, including 12.7 million ounces of silver, about 1.5% of annual global supply. And his logic is pretty simple. The world is drowning in debt. The US faces impossible refinancing, and precious metals are the only lifeboats. Physical possession, he insists, is everything. This is what most savers do not yet appreciate. Silver is a $25 billion annual market, tiny compared to equities, gold, or crypto. If even a fraction of capital shifts in, well, the market convulses. The supply deficit is chronic. In 2024, mine production was 820 million ounces. Demand, 1.16 billion. Recycling can't help this. Year after year, the deficit compounds, and silver is already scarcer above ground than gold. When deficit meets these policy tailwinds as we're seeing and sovereign buying, the price response is going to be explosive. Now, for savers, the lesson is clear. Silver's dual identity as both industrial necessity and monetary hedge offers protection not only against inflation and currency debasement, but also against disruptions to the very technologies that economics rely on. For those already holding gold, silver adds diversification with an accessible entry point. And what is the most secure way to gain exposure? Yeah, I hear you ask. Physical ownership. Because coins and bars from reputable dealers, such as those of us at Goldcore, allow you to hold an asset outside the financial system, free from counterparty risk. Nationally minted coins like Silver Britannias or American Eagles, well, they carry recognizability and liquidity, while bars offer lower premiums. Allocated storage combines safety with convenience. ETFs or mining shares may offer leverage, but they also bring market and custodial risk. Now, in uncertain times, owning the physical silver in your name remains the soundest. Governments are recognizing silver as critical. Sovereigns, as we see, are allocating. Billionaires are taking physical supply off the market. Industrial users are already running deficits. As Goldfix notes, history shows critical designation leads to stockpiling, subsidies, and copycat behavior. Demand jumps now, supply catches up later, and prices in between, they surge. Silver has been invited into the halls of strategy, and for the US is now part of economic security. For sovereign investors, this is a hedge alongside energy and equities. For billionaires, it is a lifeboat in a fragile system. And for you, for private investors, it remains one of the last chances to acquire a strategic asset at prices that do not reflect its emerging role. The question is whether you act before the rest of the market wakes up. And if you're looking for more information on how to get involved with precious metals, click on the link below.